Good evening and welcome to the Dallas Bridge Breast Network's first and hopefully our last virtual gala. I'm Van Williamson, board president and your host for the evening. We're thrilled that you're here with us tonight and that you've chosen to support us during these strange times. COVID-19 has changed our lives in many ways and we're all learning to adjust to the new normal. Even with these changes and lifestyle adjustments, the work of the bridge has not slowed down. In fact, the need for services is even greater and the challenges are even bigger. In America, 1 in 8 women will be diagnosed with breast cancer. Men in the United States are affected as well, over 2,550 cases in 2018. With the current economic downturn, there are over 3 million people unemployed, which means many are without insurance or severely underinsured. In North Texas alone, 23% of women do not have the means to fight this deadly disease. When someone has insurance and receives a diagnosis of breast cancer, it's frightening. Receiving that diagnosis of breast cancer when you're the head of a household with no insurance or income to fight this disease, it's paralyzing. Breast cancer does not stop or slow down just because of a pandemic. This means your support tonight is even more important than ever. Since 1992, the bridge has touched the lives of over 200,000 cancer patients in over 28 Texas counties. Your tax-deductible donation will go towards life-saving evaluations, mammographies, biopsies, surgeries, chemotherapy, radiation treatments, and yes, even wigs. Every dollar you donate to the bridge provides the equivalent of $10 in medical care for our clients. This is due in part to our amazing network of providers. These caring individuals donate their time, talents, services to those that need it the most. The bridge could not do what we do without them, so special thanks to our wonderful providers. Tonight, you're going to learn and hear from some great speakers about the services the bridge provides, its mission, and the impact breast cancer can have on a patient. We're also very fortunate to have Janet St. James, former WFAA Medical Reporter, as our keynote speaker. As you listen to these speakers, please keep in mind, we need your support to continue these life-saving services. So again, welcome. Thanks for being here. Along with learning about the bridge, we're going to have some fun tonight too, especially when we share some of the virtual pink house parties taking place. So, whether you're wearing glamorous pink outfits, your pajamas, or just laying around in your bathrobe, let's get this party started. Our first speaker is Dr. Sally Knox, and founder of the Dallas Bridge Breast Network. Dr. Knox?
Hello, and welcome to the annual Bridge Breast Network Gala. I am Dr. Sally Knox, one of the co-founders of the Bridge Breast Network back in 1992. Along with Kathy Latour. Working with the Bridge volunteers and clients over the past nearly 3 decades has been a real highlight in my life and taught me many things. I was early in my practice as a breast surgery specialist and seeing women who were underinsured or no insurance with the life-altering diagnosis of breast cancer. The igniting event for me was seeing a young woman just diagnosed with breast cancer that did not have health insurance, even though she was working. I was happy to donate my services, but treating breast cancer requires a team, including surgical specialists, other kinds of specialists, surgical suites, radiology services, and many other parts of the team. So the surgical unit I worked at required that payment up front for people that were uninsured. So this young lady had to cancel her surgery because of lack of funds. It just broke my heart. A couple of days later, she called me back. She asked me, Dr. Knox, yes, I want to reschedule my surgery. I've been on the phone with relatives, with friends, and she had managed to come up with the funds so she could get her biopsy done, her procedure done. I was stricken. We put her back on schedule. We got it done. And this was all long before the days of crowdfunding. But she had managed to get this done. That event inspired me to at least try to make a difference. I spoke with colleagues and found that most were excited about the idea and wanted to donate. Every one of us had been in the position of wanting to help, but only having a small piece of the whole. Others were skeptical, thinking that there's no possibility of getting an uninsured woman all the way through the months of expensive treatment. They felt it was irresponsible of me to take that first step and potentially leave a client halfway through the process without funding to complete it. I totally understood that concern. I knew how expensive it was to get a patient through the whole treatment, but I felt like I had to take it. I had to try. I felt like I had to take that risk, try anyway. The next barrier was donations. I was told that people are motivated to donate for a piece of equipment or for a specific procedure, such as a mammogram or other radiologic procedure. But the public in general was not going to be interested in donating for services rendered to clients. I was certainly new in the donation world, so I took that information, but I began talking to my patients, my breast cancer survivors, about the idea. And I knew they were going to resonate with it. I knew they were going to understand what it must feel like to be sitting in that chair without the resources to get done what needed to be done. I found that they were excited to volunteer. Time, expertise, they were wonderful. They were an inspiration to me. God brought us many amazing volunteers. Kathy Latour was my co-founder and constant encourager. She was an excellent communicator, a professor at a local university, and she served as our first board president. Teresa Carson was an attorney and a breast cancer survivor and donated her services to get our legal work done. Judy Davis was a board secretary of excellence. She was a fantastic organizer and kept us all updated, on track. Marianne Ingram was a CPA that kept our books, along with Christine Hoffman. Joyce Ward, Paula Chalupka were members of the original board who would follow Kathy in leading the board in subsequent years. I am so grateful for the privilege of knowing these inspiring women and learning from them. That original board had 19 women, I believe all of them were breast cancer survivors, except for myself. And all of these ladies took the ball and ran with it. Their dedication and hard work was an inspiration for me. Before long, we had helped that first client get a biopsy done. We discovered that by taking the first step, the pieces began to fall into place quickly. Doctors saw that we were for real, and they signed up to help. Services were donated. We started not claiming to know how we were going to get this done, but believing that by taking the first step, we'd discover what the next step was and what the next barrier was and conquer it one step at a time. Today, 28 years later, many thousands of lives have been touched. Some of those lives were saved. It couldn't have happened without the dedication and hard work of hundreds of volunteers. Our executive director, Terry Wilson Gray, is one of the finest directors I've known in any organization. Because the medical community was so generous, we found that for every $1 donated, we could provide $10 of medical care. I personally can't say enough thanks to all of the volunteers, both community volunteers and medical volunteers, that have made all of this happen for these ladies. So I'm so excited that you're allowing us into your home, and I'm excited that you're here at the Bridge Breast Network Gala. And I say welcome and thank you.
Dr. Knox, thanks so much for those words, and we sure appreciate you in the creation of the Dallas Bridge Breast Network. Our next speaker is our survivor speaker, Stephanie Johnson, the Skyline Agency. Stephanie?
Hello, and thank you for having me be a part of this really great evening. We are also grateful for your participation, and we hope that you're enjoying this as much as we had a good time putting it together for you. Tonight I want to use my time to talk about resilience. And the dictionary has two definitions of resilience. One is the ability to recover from an illness or depression or adversity. And I suppose that since I'm speaking at a breast cancer charity event, it would have one assuming that that's what we're going to focus on, but I don't want to focus on that. I would rather focus on the second version, their second definition of resilience. Yeah, I like that even better because it's the power or ability to return to the original form or position after being bent or stretched or having elasticity. Yeah, I mean, that's what going through cancer is kind of like. You are stretched, you're pulled. You have to kind of contort through a maze of rules and expectations. And much like an overused band, it can leave you feeling worn and stretched beyond capacity. You know, when I was diagnosed with triple negative BRCA positive breast cancer in 2011, I really wasn't sure how resilient I was going to be able to be. You know, I was only 38 years old and I had no insurance and I had two sons that were still in high school. And truthfully, strength was the furthest thing from my mind. And I was faced with this tidal wave of possibilities and potentials. And there I was, having forgotten how to swim. And thankfully, there were some lifeguards there for me at the bridge. There was Terry, a survivor herself. She and her team and the Bridge Breast Network showed compassion and experience, and so that I wouldn't have to be fearful. You know, their roadmap guided me to visits with very kind, very assuring Dr. Sally Knox. And because of the bridge, I had a community of oncologists and surgeons and nurses, and I had case managers all built around me with love and care. They provided me with a cushion, which allowed me the space and the specialists to be able to not only get through the battle itself, but to also to be able to say, here, speaking to you today. You know, by all of you contributing, you're helping someone. You're helping someone just like me to stay in the fight. And you're giving us an opportunity to be able to go forward in confidence. You are part of that community. You're a part of that ability for us to be resilient. And when I first started writing this speech, I'd found this quote, and it said, you know, when we learn how to become resilient, we learn how to embrace the beautifully broad spectrum of the human experience. And I love the quote because I think that we do learn how to embrace the broad humanity with community. But I believe that the resilience part is later. I think that we learn how to become resilient when we embrace the spectrum of the broad human experience. I mean, there I was looking at this great bounty of love coming from a collection of people who were only strangers not too long before. Each and every one from different backgrounds, you know, they all brought something to the table that helped me get here. A common goal, Now, I do understand that fortitude is a little hard to come by these days. And I know that it can be tough to feel resilient. And I know a lot of you may be feeling overstretched. And I think that would be fair to say. But as someone who's been there a time or two, I encourage you to look around you and look at the diverse beauty of your community. And I promise we will make it another day. For it is with the most experienced guides that we're able to navigate these complex trails together. Thank you for joining us this evening.
Our guest speaker tonight is Janet St. James, Assistant Vice President, Strategic Communications, Medical City Healthcare, former FAA Medical Reporter. We're happy to have Janet speak with us tonight. Janet?
I'm Janet St. James, Assistant Vice President of Communications at Medical City Healthcare. Some of you may also know me from the many years that I spent as a reporter at Dallas-based WFAA TV Channel 8. Most of those years I specialized in health and medicine reporting. But it's the third title that unfortunately got me invited to speak with you today. That title is breast cancer patient. And perhaps even more unfortunate is my current state as a metastatic breast cancer patient. For those of you that don't know, metastatic breast cancer is breast cancer that has spread to other organs and is not curable. This is the form of breast cancer that is the killer. So, how does a medical reporter with inside contacts and connections to the very best possible doctors, who is active, eats right, exercises, doesn't smoke, is diligent about medical checkups, including mammograms, and has excellent health insurance, well, how is it even possible that I'm diagnosed with terminal breast cancer? My story is one of self-advocacy, and it's why I believe that I'm alive right now, at least in this moment, to share my story. To my shock, I was diagnosed with breast cancer in 2015. Now, my mother had been accidentally diagnosed at a very early stage 0 breast cancer when she was in her 60s. So I had long had a breast specialist. And we had been watching just the teeniest of spots on my right breast found during a screening mammogram. I had received mammograms every 6 months for the prior 18 months and had been cleared. The spot had been ruled to be dense breast tissue, and I was told to come back in a year. But sharp right underarm pain that I'd been having, and I had reported to my doctor, still it just didn't seem right. My doctor said that it was probably from weightlifting, which I did quite often. He couldn't feel anything. The mammogram didn't show anything. But 4 months after being cleared, I insisted that we just had to have one more test just to be sure. And the ultrasound showed instantly that I had breast cancer and it had already spread to my lymph nodes. Had I not been my own best advocate and pushed for further testing, I would not have known or been diagnosed in 2015. So I got to do all the fun stuff afterwards. I had a double mastectomy, chemotherapy, radiation, reconstructive surgery. And then in 2018, pain in my spine and my tailbone started to awaken me in the middle of the night. My oncologist thought that this pain was again weightlifting or exercise. But when the wife of a colleague of mine who'd been diagnosed with breast cancer at about the same time I was diagnosed with metastatic breast cancer after reporting lower back pain similar to mine, I marched myself into the oncologist's office and I demanded further testing. He assured me I was fine, but he also ordered the test. And he was very shocked when it turned out that breast cancer had spread to my bones and all over my bones and part of my lung too. Had I not been my own best advocate, I might be dead right now instead of benefiting from life-extending treatment for as long as those treatments may last for me, and sharing the lessons that I've learned for the benefit of others. So what happens if you're not as educated, not as connected to experts, or don't have good insurance or any insurance? For those women, it's vitally important that they have resources that can help them get screened, get tested, get detected early, And then they have the support to offset the wildly expensive medical treatment that may be required afterwards. The oncology team at Medical City Healthcare tells me that during this time of COVID-19, some people have delayed screenings, which have enabled their cancer to advance to later stages. With your support, we can provide greater access. That means there are fewer reasons for delays in screening for treatment, empowering women and men to be their own best advocate. Thank you for listening, and thank you for caring for your community.
Janet, thanks so much. We sure appreciate that. Our provider speaker tonight is Michelle Walters, Medical Director, Radiology Associates of North Texas.
Let's look at some of these pictures you've got with you today and tell me what significance they have to you.
But this is my daughter, Malia, and she turned 15 this year.
This is a picture of my new husband.
My wonderful husband, Harvey, my daughter, Megan.
And my daughter, Sarah Kate, and she's 11.
This is my family. This is my husband, my daughter, Emily, my daughter, Hannah, and this is our foster daughter, and we are in the process of trying to adopt her.
I'm going to show you something, and I'm not sure if you've seen this recently or if you've ever even seen them.
Is that me?
That's you.
It's my boob.
That's your mammogram.
Just so thankful for this. I mean, if I had not had a mammogram, you know, things would be very different right now.
This mammogram, it changed my life.
I just thank God for getting this done, because things could have turned out a lot differently for me.
75% of women diagnosed have no family history. You have no family
I
history.
have no family history of breast cancer. This came out of the blue. It was an absolute shock.
There was no history of breast cancer in my family, so I didn't think it applied to me.
Triple negative is an aggressive tumor. It grows fast. It's something that shows up from one mammogram to the next, where there was nothing before. Now you've got a serious cancer to deal with. If I had waited until I felt it or my OBGYN felt it, it would have been huge. It would have, my prognosis would not be what it is because I had the screening mammogram.
If we think about getting your mammograms every other year, if I had not had it this year, I would be a year further from knowing that I had cancer.
I had my mammograms yearly. I didn't have radiation or chemotherapy because early detection.
When it's in the ducts and has not broken out into the breast tissue, you have no symptoms at all. You feel nothing, there's no lumps to feel.
You couldn't feel my lump. It had to be found with a mammogram.
To be able to catch it in that stage and then not have to go through radiation or chemo because of that, just by simply having a mammogram.
If I had waited another year to have my mammogram, I am not sure I'd be here talking to you.
I found it early, and so we have every opportunity to kick this thing to the curb.
There's this governmental task force that's saying, well, maybe women don't need to be screened quite so frequently. Maybe it's starting at the age of 50 and every other year.
My mammogram was completely clear. A year later, I had stage 2 triple negative breast cancer. This mammogram saved my life.
Had I waited till I was 50, I might not be here.
If it had not been for me getting that mammogram done, my odds would be very different right now.
If I had not had a mammogram by the age of 40, I would probably be dead right now.
Who says that 50 is early enough? You let one of your relatives, your mother or your sister, wait and see what happens.
It's going to be a lot of lives lost if we wait until it's 50 before we can get our first exam.
Early detection is what will save lives. Why would people keep early detection out of the hands of women?
That just means more of us are going to die.
I take this really seriously. If I had waited another year, or God forbid I had decided to wait until 50, there's a really good chance this thing would have killed me.
If we follow this new recommendation, 6,500 more women a year will die.
Our lives should matter.
And that's your mother, your sister, your daughter.
I'm sorry, how much is a life worth? How much is a life worth? I have family that I want to see, and I have things that I have yet to do.
But because we got it so early, because of that mammogram, I'm here today to share this time with my husband, with my family.
The percentage of lives that you would save is not worth the cost. So my life isn't worth it, and everyone else who's under 50, their life isn't worth it. I mean, that's crazy.
And because of this picture, I get to keep this.
Hi everyone, I hope you're having a great night. Welcome to the Bridge virtual fundraiser. I hope you are at home with friends and family, or I hope you're snuggled up in your PJs, drinking a nice pink bubbly, and I hope you're just having a good time. My name is Dr. Michelle Walters, and I am a radiologist, and I specialize in breast imaging. I read screening mammograms, and I see patients for diagnostic evaluation and ultrasounds. I read breast MRI, and I do a lot of breast biopsies. I have been a provider with the Bridge Breast Network for 15 years now. It's a long time. And I currently sit on their advisory board, and I'm certainly honored to be a part of this organization. As most of you know, this organization provides uninsured and underinsured women of North Texas breast cancer services, sometimes the occasional man. It is an invaluable organization, and it's desperately needed even more so during this time. As you know, with the pandemic, that we've had many more people on unemployment than we have in the recent years. With unemployment, there is loss of the employer-based insurance. The Kaiser Family Foundation estimates that 27 million people have lost employer-based health insurance. That is a huge number. Now, some of those folks will qualify for Medicaid, and some of those folks will qualify for the subsidies in the Affordable Care Act, in the exchanges. However, a lot of those patients won't, and then they simply can't afford commercial insurance. Those patients fall into what's called a coverage gap. Now, the coverage gap has been lower recently because of the ACA. However, now with the unemployment and the loss of employer-based insurance, those folks in the coverage gap have increased. It's over 1 million right now. They anticipate that there will be over 1.9 million people within this coverage gap. This is where the Bridge Breast Network comes in. They help these patients. They give these patients some place to go if they have an abnormal mammogram or if they have a lump that they feel. The Bridge Breast Network gives them the services, gives them the place to go to get evaluated. They also provide breast cancer care, surgery, oncology, chemotherapy, should they have breast cancer. It's such a vital, important organization, and we need them now. I know in my practice, we not infrequently see patients canceling their appointments or not being able to even follow up for an abnormal screening mammogram or to come in because of a palpable lump because they don't have insurance and they simply can't afford to come in and be seen. We need the Bridge Breast Network for this reason, and I am thrilled to be a part of it and want to continue to help the Bridge. I hope that tonight, as you're drinking your pink bubbly or enjoying your friends and family, that you find it in your heart to donate some money to the Bridge Breast Network tonight. It's extremely important. We need this organization. And remember, for every dollar that you donate, it's like $10. So it's very important. Please enjoy your evening. And while you're enjoying your evening, please donate to the Bridge tonight. I hope you have a wonderful evening.
The Bridge Breast Network provides cancer diagnostic and treatment services for uninsured and underinsured men and women. We help link those individuals who have no access to a doctor's office to a provider at little or no cost. Uninsured women in the North Texas community can't afford to fight breast cancer, but they can't afford not to. Through the help of volunteers and donations from the North Texas community, the Bridge can carry out its most vital mission, saving lives. The Bridge Breast Network. Build a bridge, save a life.
What a fun evening we're having at our Pink Glam affair. Hi, I'm Sia Bond, Vice President of the Bridge Breast Network. As we all know, breast cancer didn't get the memo about COVID-19. It's not stopping and it's not taking a break. The Bridge Breast Network is here to keep pushing forward to help our clients, not only women, but also men. With the challenges of COVID, more people are losing their jobs, their insurance, and more. The staff at the Bridge Breast Network, along with the board members, volunteers, are here to help. But we can't do it alone. We need you. We all need you. I'm here to ask for your help by making a contribution to the Bridge Breast Network so that we as board members, volunteers, and staff can keep helping all of the individuals that are knocking on our door, looking for a place for treatment. With every dollar you donate, our clients are receiving 10 times that amount in medical care. Hundreds of physicians and medical facilities are drastically reducing their fees to make such a large discount. And with your gift, we don't have to turn these individuals away. We need your money. We need your money. Our patients need your support. So please give generously, and any amount is greatly appreciated. Thank you for joining us tonight at our Pink Glam Affair, and have a great time this evening.